Yo, what's going on, guys? Koi here. Today we're going to be talking about pretty much the tier list for Anime Reborn. Hope you guys enjoy. I have some tiers here, which are like must-have units, like units that are just super meta, really good units that are like very, very good in the game right now. Usable metas is pretty much a baseline for characters that are usable in the game and can take you pretty far. And okay at best, obviously, are characters that don't do as much as you'd like them to do, but they're still here. Like they're okay. Then meh is like characters you don't really want to use at all. Like, not really. And we're going to get started today with the brand new superhero characters, just to get a baseline of where things kind of are right now. So, first things first, we have okay at best and meh right here with Pan and Mr. Satan. Pan, the only problem with Pan is she just takes a lot to start up. She does get a small damage buff, but it's like not even noticeable because of how small it is. If it was a little bit of a bigger buff, her passive would be a little more good. Mr. Satan, he does have a better passive. He also Dynamite Kick is like really not bad at all. Very quick and actually super usable. But of course, these characters are blue, so they do kind of fall off in that regard, where they kind of have that issue of not being the best damage dealers at all. But are they usable? Meh. All right. Next, let's go ahead and get into, I would say, Mr. Magenta or Red Boss. Mr. Magenta is amazing, but he's a single target unit, which makes him a little harder to use than other units in the game. Plus, he only has just really good damage against the single target. So it's like he just has that problem of not being able to hit everything around him. So if he gets overwhelmed, he gets overwhelmed, and he doesn't have any type of like crazy passive that's going to keep him on the board at all, compared to other units that just do his job a lot better. So yeah, that's where Mr. Magenta is going to land. Android 18, I would say she's definitely one of the really, really good units that did drop this time. She's just very good, very useful. Is she a must-have? It's a maybe for me. Maybe I'll change it up depending on where we're at right now. And just as we go. But she is hybrid. She does do bonus damage to characters that are dying. She's a good starter unit and an ender unit. So it really just depends on the way that you want to play her. We do have the brand new Orange Piccolo. Orange Piccolo is, we're going to go ahead and put him in a must have category. He's just one of those characters that gives really good buffs. Like his buff is straight up to boss damage, which is incredibly useful if you use it with the correct characters. You could just add an extra bit of boss damage to any character that he's around, and it does work only on the first couple characters. But if you just start stacking Piccolo buffs with the 3 Piccolos you could do so much extra boss damage. It just, it's very, very nice. Also, his passive ability also allows him to transform, getting him even more damage output. He's a very useful unit, also has very good ground type damage. I do wish that he was hybrid. He'd probably be at the top of the list if he was hybrid, honestly. But of course, we got to leave that, make room for Gohan. Gohan is obviously just going to be the greatest contender for this. He does have placement damage. He is a hybrid placement unit. He does more damage the longer he's in fighting. Like the more he fights, the more destructive he gets. And he's probably one of the greatest characters to drop in this game at all. Very, very unique in the way that his passive works, and it makes him an just absolute mob killer over anything else in the game. I mean, obviously, there is another character that we will be talking about that is just slightly better at their job than he is. But, whenever we get down to it, he is just a great all around unit that is a must have. Definitely pick him up if you can. And let's get down to business. So we're going to go ahead and just get these guys out of here. Most of these blue units, they just don't have the best of passives. Obviously, some of them have better passives than others, but we'll talk about the ones that are like kind of useful as I put these down. So right here, there's just a lot of characters that don't do anything very unique. They just have very decent damage. I would say the Straw Hat Boys are definitely up there whenever it comes down to usefulness, how fast they are, their abilities, their damage. So if you are a new player and you want to run the Straw Hats, you totally can. They're probably some of the more unique characters. I wish Sasuke got something maybe like a stun. He would be more useful. But only characters like Sanji did get fire on placement. So if you want an early burn unit, Sanji's kind of there. But of course, like if you are just kind of spending your gems willy nilly, you're probably better off going for some of the more purple characters than these characters. But they are cheap, they are kind of usable, but they're just, it really just depends. All right, let's get into the purple units. So the purple units, there's some purple units that are very good, very usable, and then there's some that are just terrible. I would say like characters like Inosuke is just really, really bad. He has one of the worst slow and like just terribly used moves in the entire game. Very useless. Honestly, Mr. Magenta does more damage than Inosuke just because of the way Inosuke's last move works. It's so slow, unnecessary slow. He doesn't have any other passive that makes him incredibly unique either. He's just there. We have Hiei. He's actually not bad. He's actually very usable. I've seen him used as a starter unit, placement unit. He does do like a decent amount of damage. He's very fast. And he's just kind of there. I would say he's just more in the usable category. Killua, I would say he's very good, especially just because he is just one of those characters that has one of the only unique shocks in the game. So you have a stun right here. Early game stun, very useful. You could honestly like just have them up there and really just do all the stun. And the more unique stuns that you have, the more that you're actually going to be able to stop bosses without having to deal with the universal cooldowns. All right, Zenitsu. I wish that he was kind of there, but he's really not. He's kind of usable, but he doesn't have the same passives like other characters do that make him incredibly usable. You know what I mean? And even at that, I would just put him down here. He's not even that good compared to other units on this list. So I wouldn't even do that. Um Bulma, this is like the first game where it's like Bulma isn't really that good because she costs more to put down than she gives out. Like the risk for reward ratio is not that good, and she just doesn't put out enough money in order to make her getting all three down as soon as possible. Like it's just she's the probably the worst farm unit in the game, which is very surprising. And I would even say she's just like okay at best. Like she's not even useful if you stack her with Speedwagon. We'll talk more about that as we get to Speedwagon, but she's okay at best. She's not even super useful. I don't know why. She should be better. Neji, very useful. Honestly, I would even say better than Hiei. Him and another character just have the same build, and he's nice little circle AoE, could do some really good damage. And then I would say really good, probably Vegeta. Vegeta's probably one of the best like starter units in the game. Very cheap, easy to max out. You can stack him very well, and his final ability is just multi-hit goodness. Exactly what you want from like any unit. Lots of damage output. He's probably my favorite character, honestly. Throughout all of the purples, he's probably my favorite character. The rest of these characters, they kind of just fall off in some type of category. Vegeta's just perfect for shield breaking and just dealing some really, really good damage. Neji and Hiei kind of follow behind. Killua, obviously, just stun. If you need stun, he's the guy. So yeah, Vegeta would be your first starter unit ever. Let's go ahead and get into the gold characters. We're gonna go ahead and use like God, I forgot his name again. Yu Yu Hakusho's character. He's cool, does good damage. Don't get me wrong. He's just not up there whenever it comes down to damage, man. He just isn't because he doesn't have a passive that really makes him good compared to all the other legendary units that have better passives than him. He just does damage. That's it. And I think that Rock Lee kind of falls into that same category just with a better ability and a better final attack because Rock Lee's final attack is just a better version of what Neji's is. So, like, yeah, it's just a better Neji. Um, Even at that, I don't even know if he's better than Neji, honestly. Like, he's just not that good. He's really not. His damage is lackluster. He's a little too expensive to even use. There's other legendary characters that are more worth it to go after than this guy, and it's not really worth your time to actually go all the way on him. Um, let's talk about Kuzan. Oh my god, Kizaru is just really, really good. I would even say probably better than Android 18 in my opinion, because his last move is the biggest hybrid AoE attack I have ever seen in the game for a legendary, and that's so critical for actually completing a lot of the events in the game, especially whenever you're trying to beat like flying units that are so fast. that, and they stack with the really good units. And he also does multi-hit. So Kizaru is just like, he's almost a must-have unit if you really think about starter damage. But of course, we're going to save that for a little bit, see where we go with this, and really see what's up. He's also very fast, very fast. Uryu is just a weaker version of what Kizaru is, but at least he is a hybrid unit. He probably has some of the weakest, probably the weakest ability passive in the game, because he has a 25% chance to slow down units. Even though it is air and air and floor, he's just good. He's usable, but there's other characters that just do his job a lot better, and we'll talk about that right now. Blackbeard, for instance, just incredibly must-have unit. The slowness in this game is probably one of the greatest passives in the entire game, in my opinion. And whenever it comes down to Blackbeard, everyone uses him. Everyone uses him in the end game. He's just that good, man. He's that good. Blackbeard's the only really good slow unit in the game. There's no other unit that does slow like him, and that saves so much time for your other CC characters to just do their jobs a little bit better, and that's just really, really good. Genos. Genos is honestly solid. I think that he's a very good character, in my opinion. I think Android 18 kind of makes him fall off a little bit because she's just a better version of what he is. But he is a ground unit. He does really good damage, and he has a soft burn. I wouldn't say it's like a really, really good burn. There's another character that just does it better than him, obviously, and it's also a hybrid unit you don't need to worry about. So Genos, as a starting unit, he's very good. You could use him in story, all that good stuff. Even as a starting unit, very, very useful. All right, Rukia, must-have unit. Just like, whenever you think of like freeze, it's such a unique ability right now. You just have to have her on the field. You don't even need to upgrade her. That's the best part. You don't need to upgrade her. She's just really good to have. Have her target the strongest, and she'll just start slowing down, freezing your opponents as fast as possible without any problems at all. And she's just so unique right now. Until they drop another character that does freeze, she's got to be up there. Water Goddess, another character that kind of has to be up there. She gives you 15% range and damage increase, and that's such a good passive and it's an active ability actually. It's an active ability. Very useful, very very useful for just doing extra damage. Who doesn't like more damage? Her as a damage dealing character in reality is a multi-hit hybrid ability, so big AoE, all that good stuff. She is a good shield breaker, so if you're going to have her in the front, she will break those shields incredibly fast. Speedwagon, literally one of the most must-have units in the game. I would even say if you don't have Speedwagon, you need Speedwagon. He is necessary for playing the game in general. He is the best farm unit in the game. By himself, he does better than Bulma three times fold. Like, uh, he's just better. He's the must-have unit of the game. If you do not have Speedwagon, you need Speedwagon. If you could get wealth on Speedwagon, you will be cooking like crazy. This dude is so useful, so detrimental to gameplay. Everyone has him. You must have him. All right, let's kind of get into the new like exclusive character. She's good, but she's just really good at best. Honestly, she's okay. She's only a ground unit, even with an MP5. She's not hybrid. She has the new bleed ability. She does a little good damage. She's good. Don't get me wrong. She is good, but she is not the best unit in the game. There are other characters that do her job tenfold, and it's just sad that she's like really not up there, especially as one of the brand new exclusive battle pass units. But it is what it is. What it is. It is what it is. All right, Odin, low key falling off over here. He's up there. He's not too bad. The only problem is he's also not that good whenever it comes down to just mythicals in general. His starting damage is lackluster. You need to evolve him in order for him to be good. And then once you get him to that point, he just doesn't perform the same way that a lot of other characters do in this game. And it's just all right. He is there. He is not the best, but he is there. Now, talking about some of the best units in the game has to be Goku, obviously. Goku with the cheapest evolution in the game, probably the best starting unit in the game. Ridiculous damage. He is literally just cheaper Gohan. That's it. They literally are the same exact character. And the only difference is he is a hill unit. He is that starter hill unit. He's super cheap and he's so freaking good just to beat the story mode, beat infinite mode, beat every single mode. He's just there. He's always going to be there. Goku is just that guy. Broly, on the other hand, kind of blows. Let's be honest here. Broly is just a worse version of what these characters already do, where his hybrid damage is slow. He doesn't like you need to evolve him in order for him to be really freaking good. And if he doesn't have Evo, you're going to struggle trying to get through any other game mode in the game because he's just not that good. His last ability is a beam without evolution, and he needs evolution to be good, and that's the only downside with him. After you get that evolution, you can take him to infinite mode, but he's still not going to help you in any other category of the game. I would even put him behind Odin because of that. All right. Honestly, I would say you need Killua more than them and Vegeta more than these guys, honestly, because they're just not that good. Honestly, I think Genos does need to go down a little bit. He's usable, but he's not that good. There's other characters that do his job a lot better. Obviously, that would be Kizaru and Android 18. So, I mean, they're just better versions of what he is, man. All right, let's get into it. Kaido. Oh wait, let's wait for that. I think let's drop the secret units. Let's go for the mythics. Uh, Obviously you got to go with Itachi. Best like tick unit in the game. The burn is amazing. He does a lot of work. He's multi-hit. He just is hybrid. He's amazing. Hands down, Itachi is a must-have character. He takes a lot. He's so expensive for no reason. He's so expensive but also so good. It's so hard to say that like Itachi's not good. He's so freaking good, but he's so expensive to Evo. Once you get that Evo and you get that Susano and everything, he just starts cooking. He is so good. Pain. Pain, on the other hand, he's just really, really good. I wouldn't say he's like the best unit in the game, especially because he just is a weaker version of what Whitebeard already does with with a much slower build up. So he's good. Whitebeard, on the other hand, better by a lot. Hybrid, great starting unit, good placement unit, cheaper upgrades, a better passive for stun. Like he just does more for infinite mode and challenge battles and everything else than freaking Pain could. His Pain is all timed, kind of like a setup unit. Very good, but he's just not Whitebeard. Whitebeard is just a better version of what Pain is, man. And it's just sad. That's how it is. Mihawk, on the other hand, Mihawk is so good, but so one trick. He's just so good, but so one trick. Don't get me wrong. He is a must have unit. Absolutely a must have unit. The only downside with him is that he's only good for killing bosses, and he is very expensive. But he's good. He's expensive. He's really good for killing bosses. He has the highest damage output when you actually get him evoed, and he is just very very useful for just that boss killer. But he is not. He's not any of these other. That's all he's good for. He's just really good for chopping up bosses. That is it. Of course, he is in the must-have category for a reason. I would just say that Piccolo is just a better starting unit because Piccolo's got shorter cooldowns, bigger AoEs, circle AoE, and there's all these other characters are just better than Piccolo. You know what I mean? So just yeah. All right, let's go ahead and dip into the secret units. Rimuru. Rimuru is really good. Don't get me wrong. Rimuru is really good. She's not a must-have unit though. She's like if you get her or him, because of course Rimuru is a dude reincarnated. But if you get Rimuru, then you're good. But if you get like it's not really necessary. Like I would even say like Pain, maybe these characters would probably be more necessary because Rimuru takes a lot to build up, and she's really really good. But after that, it's like she kind of falls into the same category as these characters, and it's just like they're okay at best, but they're not necessary for beating the game. Kaido, on the other hand, though, man, where the crap should I put Kaido? This dude is just an absolute menace. Probably right here behind Beast Gohan, I think. He's just super necessary. He's the last character you could get in the game. He has one of the most devastating passive and active abilities in the entire game, especially post Evo. He does so much damage and he buffs everybody. His damage is just ridiculous, man. of course, like there's other characters here that do their job off rip earlier than him, but he's so necessary for defeating any of the hardest content in the game. He makes everything look easy. All right. Uh, of course, the gammas. The gammas are very cool. Don't get me wrong. The gammas are very cool. I think that they're really, really good units for what they do. I just don't know where they really belong in this category. I don't know if they're really up there compared to characters like Whitebeard and stuff that have better starting damage. But the gammas, they're there, man. They do damage. They do really good work. They're very solid units. They have really dope passives, and I wouldn't say that they're bad at all. There definitely must have units, especially since we're all kind of grinding the same event. I can't believe I forgot to bring them up earlier. My bad. But Android 21 is just another one of those characters. Hybrid unit, massive damage, incredible buff, freaking ridiculous unit, and she's so cheap. You could get her off rip doing the first legend stage ever. So she's just so ridiculously broken. And I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell down below. If this tier list helped you out, let me know down below. I want to know how good I did. I'll see you guys later. Take it easy and peace out. Yeah.